Paulie here on a post edition of the Canelo fight. It's Paulie TV. Canelo versus Berlanga is over. Canelo wins a pretty wide unanimous decision. No surprise with the result. I think with the result, everybody was kind of expecting a Canelo win. But, you know, some surprise as far as the way it happened. Most people thought, I feel like most people thought that Canelo was going to get a stoppage. I thought Canelo was probably going to get maybe a, mid to late round stoppage as well. Berlanga, while I don't think he ever fought to fully try to win the fight, at the same time, he did have some decent moments. And when there wasn't a lot, here's the thing, when there's not a lot expected of a fighter, when he even has some moments in the fight and he's able to go the distance, he's going to come out the better for it as far as the way people are going to view him and look at him. And I think Berlanga, with this performance, manages to keep himself in and around the 168-pound title picture, at least for one more fight. In my experience, you'll get a moral victory, but then you got to show that you belong at this level. You've got to win at this level, and we'll see if Berlanga, in future opportunities, will be able to win at this level. There's talk about, possibly a Caleb Plant fight. Who knows? Maybe even Trevor McCumbee, because McCumbee fought pretty well against Plant before dying out and getting stopped by Caleb. That was another fight I'll talk about on this video as well. But as far as Canelo was concerned, early knockdown. It seems like that's the case with Canelo fights lately. that early knockdown, and then he kind of, I don't know if he's taking his foot off the gas, or if he's just, maybe just at his age, he's not able to, get that extra boost and get the final salvo to stop the fight. But certainly he was in control the whole fight. There's still a lot of things that Canelo does very well. He's a savvy guy. He's crafty. And he does things that make you very, very uncomfortable, especially if you're inexperienced like Edgar Berlanga. So I think he still shows himself to be a solid top 5 guy, even with the titles. He's been stripped of the IBF title. I'm not really too familiar with the guys that are going to fight for the IBF title, but I will say that, overall he's still pretty much a top 5, probably even a top 3, 168 pounder. The elephant in the room is always going to be David Benavidez. My question for the Canelo fans, though, is why Edgar Berlanga? Why Edgar Berlanga? How do you defend this when a few years ago when Demetrius Andrade was trying to fight him in a post-fight press conference, Canelo gave him a smirk and said, like, who have you fought? You fought nobody. But yet Edgar Berlanga gets a shot when he has no opposition of note. And I think, Edgar Berlanga is going to be what he is. You can't criticize Edgar Berlanga for being what he is. Berlanga actually, I think, fought better than what was expected. So you cannot criticize Berlanga. The criticism has to go to Canelo for fighting this kind of opposition. Again, we've never seen anybody duck a mandatory for as long as he's been ducking. Benavidez actually didn't want step-aside money so that he could enforce his mandatory. That he actually turned down step-aside money so that, because if he would take the step-aside money, it would be like he's accepting the fact that Canelo won't fight him. So he didn't even want the step-aside money. He wanted to put the onus on the sanctioning bodies, specifically the WBC, where he was the mandatory, and on Canelo himself to fight him as his mandatory. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Yous have never seen anything like this in your life. This is the most outright duck we've ever seen in our life. And of course, Benavidez had to take his act to 175 pounds because there was really not a lot going on at 168 for him to do if he wasn't going to be able to ever get a title shot no matter what he accomplished. Having said that, where does Canelo go from here? It could be a couple of other opportunities. Maybe the Crawford fight. I know the Crawford fight is something that's talked about more like a fantasy fight. I'm not really crazy about it, but especially the way Crawford looked in his last fight with Madrimov, where he looked good, but you can start to see that the weight is starting to affect him, going up all these weight classes. I'm not really too crazy about that fight. I could see Canelo possibly fighting Eubank Jr., which is like another one of these, these fights that, you kind of going to know the result. I don't know. The Canelo-Berlanga fight was decent, but there's no drama anymore, man. You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about the top of the 168-pound food chain there, and there's just no drama because the top guy won't fight the next best contender, and then the weight class could sort of shift around and keep moving. It's kind of frustrating because I believe it's forced guys like Benavidez and Morrell to both go up to 175 pounds because they are the two next best contenders in line for title shots, and neither of them were ever going to get a title fight, So I don't know. But overall, it was a solid performance by Canelo against the opposition he had. I don't mind him not getting the stoppage. Like I said, he showed a lot of savvy stuff, showed a lot of crafty stuff in there. And I think Berlanga also will be the better for the learning experience that he's got because he didn't go in there and get blown out. I don't think he ever really believed he was going to win the fight. You know, he said 6-round knockout. He didn't really push anything in the 6th round. That was his prediction, was a 6-round knockout. You look at the 6th round, the way Berlanga fought the 6th round, and he didn't fight the 6th round any differently than he fought any other round. You know, like, he didn't say, like, okay, this is the round I said I'd stop him, let me go for it, you know. So I don't think he ever believed he would win, he wouldn't get the knockout, nor do I think he thought he'd win the fight, because I never saw him push it to that extreme, you know. He erred on the side of caution so he wouldn't get stopped. McCombie, on the other hand, on the undercard against Plant, actually erred completely on the other side of it, and this is the other side of the inexperience. You have the one side of the inexperience where you don't know, so you err on the side of caution, and the other side of the inexperience, which is McCombie, where he just erred on, let me just go right at him, and he started out really fast, like a bat out of hell. Had Plant in some trouble early on, and it looked like a possible upset was sort of brewing, but then the experience of Plant, the savvy craftiness of Plant took over, and McCombie had nothing left. He also, you know, had expended most of the gasoline that he had as far as the energy level was concerned, because he came out so fast and he had nothing left and he wound up getting stopped. So that's the other side of the, you know, not having a lot of experience. But I still think McCombie, you know, behaved well enough to get another shot at around this level as well. He fought well early on, got stopped. It'll be a learning experience for him. And you know what, even Berlanga and McCombie, they both come out with a little bit more positive coming off of these defeats, you know.